Hello and welcome to Dad and Sons, the one media product in the world equally as disappointing as the last 2 years of video games. My name is George Weedman, and as usual, I have my lovely two co-hosts, Matt Visual and Liam Edwards.
All right, hello there.
Hello.
And this week, we are doing a Death Stranding Spectacular. So a bunch of weird trailers over the past few years have preceded the launch of what is, admittedly, a pretty weird game. It's, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'm pretty okay calling it a hiking game, all things considered.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, pretty much. It's more of a delivery service game than anything.
You know, that tweet that I did way back, Delivery Man, is seeming more, relatable right now.
If only Kojima could sue you for knowing all of the answers immediately.
I knew it was going to be a fucking delivery.
It is. It's Delivery Man the game. But we'll get more onto that in a bit.
So for this week, I've asked our audience on Twitter. Now that Death Stranding has made a lot of complex mechanics and controls and AAA overproduction out of hiking, what modest, reasonable, everyday adventure or activity do you think you could see turned into a big, overproduced AAA video game next?
Good one.
Yeah, I feel like this is a topic that prods some actual legit discussion on what games can do. I mean, sure, there's going to be some silly bullshit answers as I have prepared for us, but I freaking love dialogues like this. Like, I just perk up and get a smile every time I see a video game tackle something weird.
I am absolutely a sucker for games that take on the mundane and gamify them. So I'm interested.
I love controller gimmicks, and we're all playing through a game right now where sometimes you have to mash the left and right triggers to shift your weight left and right. So first up, we got good old Sunder, the TOVG podcast relic. Sunder suggests
Relic.
Okay. Let's move on to the actual suggestion from Sunder. Sunder suggests being a garbage man. A game about being a garbage man. Just like making the rounds in your rig to dump barrels and dumpsters of garbage, taking it to the landfill.
Wow. That's interesting. I'm going to hold on to that thought.
And then he works for the mafia, right? And then he dumps bodies, and you have to make sure you dispose of the bodies.
Yeah, that can be
like
the combat mechanics. No, you actually bring up a good point, and that's like, how do you make an exciting story about it? And maybe you're just like a young, idealistic garbage man with a gleam in your eye, a passion for cleaning up these streets, but then like organized crime gets involved, and there's a conspiracy, and you have to solve a murder case with gangsters.
And he's just like grunts, right? He's like, I just want to throw away garbage.
It would still be a more interesting story than Death Stranding.
Oof.
Ooh, let's wait.
Another idea from Dale Booper suggests waiting in line. There's so much you have to manage. What's the appropriate distance to be from the person ahead of you? How much can you tap your foot before you start looking crazy? What do you do with your hands?
That's a good one. I like that. Like a Papers, Please-esque puzzle where you have to figure out what is the appropriate way to wait in line.
A Hitman-esque social stealth game where all of the problems of social anxiety are gamified as very strict rules about how you're allowed to behave around other people.
Wow. That sounds intense.
Well, that's what we're getting at here. We're trying to intensify average everyday experiences to show people what's, fun and meaningful about the stuff we do with our lives.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. It's about connecting people, if you will.
Oh my God.
The fanboy comes out.
What does Kojima know about connecting America?
So, okay, if we're making a AAA overproduced Kojima-esque game about waiting in lines, I think that in order to properly... we need Gang Beast style controls where you move like a physics ragdoll character.
That would be pretty good.
If you get it wrong, the whole line just dominoes over and everyone stumbles on top of each other. It could be funny.
I think if it was Gang Beast physics, yeah, it would.
There is one guy who wanted a welding game, Nathan Palmer-ish, Nathan Palmer says, I want a stupidly in-depth game about welding where you start at a small family-owned shop where the quality doesn't really matter. Then you work your way up to underwater welding or aerospace welding.
Wow.
That sounds like a game anyway. Welding sounds like a game.
You could do a funny physics simulation about it, like gluing things together to make some stupid machine.
Man, I feel like that exists already, right?
Does it? There's Gary's mod.
No. What's that? Oh, I guess. No, I guess there's one in space. There's a couple. Yeah. There's like a building one in space. I can't remember what the name is. It's not extremely popular. But, all right, yeah.
It's weird, actually, because welding would be a quite difficult game to make, because you'd be essentially trying to simulate melting polygons into other polygons and textures melting into each other, which actually, as a technical thing for a very mediocre welding game, would be quite remarkable.
It could impress people just as much as all these complex physics simulations we have about destructing things.
Well, you could fake it and just have like an overlaying texture of burn marks and have them look like they stuck together. And then you'd be probably simulating the same effect. I've got my eyes on you, Kojima.
I wonder if complaining about texture seams in a game about welding is something you just wouldn't have to worry about.
Because you could fix them.
At Pudgebert suggests navigating an airport.
Oh.
Right?
Can you use a skateboard?
Oh, yeah. Is it like a time trial based thing where you have to you have various scenarios, like 10 minutes before the plane takes off, or your boarding gate has just arrived, but there's been a massive spillage in Terminal 2. So you have to find your own way around it. Like, there could be really unique scenarios around this that would make it a super interesting game.
So you whip out your skateboard and start shredding your way there.
You bribe the flight attendant to take you through the stewardess halls or something.
Oh, there has to be some gameplay with the TSA.
Oh,
there has to be being able to skip it.
If you choose the map character, you immediately get hauled for security.
I remember there was the airport level in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, but if that game came out a few years after 9/11, I bet they would have taken it out, because the security guards are gonna fucking shoot you.
Oh my god! I just can't wait till use their gun.
The terrifying reality.
Tony Hawk's dreams are dead. The terrorists have won. You just can't skateboard in the airport like in the good old days.
That's a good idea, though, for a game. If you have various scenarios, I think that could be a worthwhile experience.
I could so easily imagine procedurally generated airports.
Oh, yeah.
So easy to picture a game just making a plate of noodles of tunnels and giving them that very generic, sanitized, rounded-edged art style that they all have. All airports, no matter where you are in the world.
The only problem with that is you'd have to have the nitty-gritty that an airport would have, which is the terminal maps and also the arrivals and departing boards. And all that would have to procedurally match up as well. So even that would also be technically quite impressive, too.
Yeah, can you imagine? Those big airports? I don't know if you guys have ever been to those ones.
Man, I live in Atlanta.
Huge airports where you have to take a train to another train and then ride one of those floor escalators.
Kansai.
Oh, you mean the plane train in Atlanta?
No, not Atlanta. There's another one that's big, and it's bigger than that one, man.
When you have to literally travel across a city to get to the other terminal. Yeah.
Can you imagine
the
end of the game
something.
is that long? Yeah.
You hijack a bus just to arrive on your plane, but you get taken down by security. Yeah, no, just take it off on the plane yourself.
I'm not going to be pedantic about it, but you are talking about Atlanta.
There was a game released last week that was airplane simulator, where it was just simulating sitting on an airplane for 6 hours in real time.
What was it? Was it a troll game, like a Jim Sterling review?
I think half serious, half troll. I mean, it's a real time simulation of sitting on a plane and eating food and watching movies.
Sketchy Games suggests trying to keep up with the flood of new AAA game releases.
The anxiety of both your wallet and also the FOMO of missing out.
So
Me
I'm
and Matt know this all too well.
I'm picturing a thrilling, exciting story where you have to you got to uncover some kind of conspiracy, right? But why do we need to keep up with games? Oh my God! What if they made an action adventure detective game where you're uncovering a game journalism conspiracy, and that's why trying to keep up with the flood of new AAA game releases is the primary mechanic?
I mean, okay. It could be that it's just your job to talk on a podcast about video games, and you have to play them.
A non-violent, open-world detective adventure game that takes place in a thrillingly overproduced video game version of, like, Montreal or San Francisco. And you run around the city and interview game developers and arrange podcasts and try to keep up with the AAA game releases.
The anxiety of it.
The Lingo 56 has an idea that has been capitalized on before, but I would argue not enough, and that is photography. Photography would be a fantastic thing to systemize in all these open world games. They already have photo modes, just take the combat out and reward people for walking around taking great shots.
Beyond Good and Evil.
Like Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, it already exists. Also, there's a great indie game that just came out called Photographs, which is all based around taking photos and then interacting via minigames based on what you took a photograph of. I feel like photography is not as well covered as you think in video games, considering it is quite a unique mechanic. But Beyond Good and Evil stands out, as Matt said. Pokemon Snap. I think that's fairly covered.
There's also a lot of first-person shooter groundwork that you could put your first-person photography game into.
It'd be cool if there was like a safari simulator and you had to take pictures of lions and elephants and stuff, but it was like hyper
walk up,
hyper photorealistic, and you got rewarded for whatever National Geographic magazine you ended up in.
And if you fail, you just get eaten by a lion.
Yeah, exactly. That would be interesting. And you have to like pick the lenses and stuff, and it's really nerdy and shit.
It'll be like different areas as well. You get the rainforest and all that.
You have to use the correct lighting for the weather.
That would be tight.
They're actually,
that would be so tight. I would play that game.
I hear Matt's erection from here.
I can't believe I'm actually about to recommend an old ass video game on the TOVG. The Dad and Sons podcast. There was an early PlayStation 3 game called Africa that came out in 2008 that does this concept. Yeah, you bless the rains, you drive a little truck around the savannah. Anyways.
Okay.
The Rasputin suggests grocery shopping with your kids.
Does Octodad cover that?
There is a grocery shopping with your kids level in Octodad, yes. But let's imagine a grocery shopping with your kids AAA overproduced Hideo Kojima game. Oh my God, the conversations where you have to tell your kids to not buy something because you don't have enough money for it would be like 20 minutes long.
Would they scream and cry?
And you explain what money is in like 3 different definitions, all in the same paragraph.
So you're talking about like dialogue choices?
Yeah. You'd have some dialogue choices. You'd have to talk your kids down. You'd have to save yourself from public embarrassment. Like in Death Stranding, figure out a good load order for your grocery cart to make sure it doesn't topple over and spill out in the parking lot in front of everyone.
Little George did not like that. He'll be like The Walking Dead.
I think one of my first traumatic childhood experiences was literally getting lost in the supermarket. But anyways, Last one I'm going to drop down to us is from Game JMD. Imagine, if you will, a AAA overproduced video game about quietly opening doors. You'll be graded for gently grabbing the knob without jostling it, cracking it open just right to reduce hinge squeak, closing it behind you so that there's no slipping back into the hatch with a soft clunk. In later levels, you're going to have to tackle rusty iron doors with slide locks. There's going to be key management involved. So I guess you'd also don't want to jingle your keychain and alert Dad or whoever you're trying to sneak around here.
Yeah, us dads. Can't disturb us podcasting. You have to open the door very quietly.
Why did he think about this game? Why?
Well, yeah, why is he sneaking around houses?
Because I could easily imagine this being a stealth game thing. In Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six 3, you can open doors like halfway or like a little bit of the way by just scrolling the mouse wheel. So you point your mouse cursor at a door and start scrolling, and it inches its way open or shut depending on how much you scroll the mouse wheel. And that's such a cool, easy feature that I can't believe more games don't have.
Nice.
Well, I don't know how easy it is to implement it, but it feels easy as a player. It's elegant.
Yeah, I can't imagine that would be that difficult, to be honest. Actually, before we move on to something else.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you missed some good ones, dude. Like Kevin is saying, Jury Duty the game, Visit the DMV. Oh, that one's gonna be a classic.
Oh, that could be the waiting in line simulation where
Yeah.
you just topple everyone over like dominoes.
But Black Trim is brewing coffee. Working at Starbucks maybe. Starbucks the game.
There is a
putting
game-
IKEA furniture together.
There is a game called Coffee Talk that I think is new. That is like kind of a visual novel in the same way as Valhalla, but you actually get to make coffee art. You're a barista and you make coffee art for the people you talk to in that game. So that could be pretty interesting.
Yeah, okay.
You're a barista.
Yeah, I could see it.
But this topic reminded me. The first thing I thought of was 2 years ago. I made I didn't get it finished, but I made like a prototype of a game I had an idea for, which was based around Japanese graduation ceremonies. Which at the time is something I've experienced, right? And Japanese graduation ceremonies, as you can imagine, are these full-fledged ceremonies that go on for like fucking 3 hours, and you have to do a whole routine of different stuff and different things happen. But it got me inspired to make a game about it, which was like Rhythm Heaven style, like rhythm game where you had to like stay in line for walking up to the podium to receive your like degree,
Oh my God,
and then
with,
getting
like,
back in
a
your
rhythm?
chair. Yeah, like complete rhythm game. So like all Rhythm Heaven style stuff. So like ha 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 da da ha ha, like tapping the keyboard and stuff like that. And you would have to give like a speech and read off a piece of paper, but you'd put the piece of paper in front of your face and then a timer would come up, and it was like you weren't allowed to read off the paper. I don't know if you were ever told that in school. Like in Japan, you're not allowed to read off the paper. You have to memorize every word of every speech you're ever going to do. But sometimes kids end up looking at the paper and trying to read off it. So there would be like a timer that would come up every time you lifted the paper in front of your face, obscuring the view of the audience. And then you'd have to quickly put it down again and then try and recite the words and then pull it up again to bring it up. Yeah, it was kind of interesting thinking of like mundane things I could put into video games. I never got to finish that, but that was a lot of fun to make.
There's so many possibilities.
Mundane stuff in video games. Maybe I'll have a game for you next year that will do stuff like that.
Like going to work as a salaryman.
Oh, I did do that.
Oh, you did? Oh my gosh.
Oh, wait.
Go download it, guys.
Why was I thinking of the other prototype when I actually did make a game about a salaryman? Well, there you go. Mundane stuff in video games is great. I love it.
On that note, we might as well go ahead and transition over to talking about Death Stranding, a game about walking.
The meat and potatoes of this episode.
Yeah, Death Stranding is a game about...
Spoilers?
I
Spoilers.
don't know,
No,
Matt.
no,
okay, you're like...
no.
We gotta...
No.
What do you mean?
I'd prefer there to be no spoilers, but we gotta talk, because you're like... What, you almost finished it? How?
He finished it.
No, I didn't finish it.
Oh, okay.
I'm on chapter 7, but near like the end of chapter 7, I think. I'm like at it's like all the characters are being thought through, I think.
Huh. So it feels
I'm pretty sure I
climatic.
have like a good few hours left, but I'm in
Jesus
there.
Christ,
I'm really
dude.
in there.
That's where I'm at in Outer Worlds, and you finished that 2 weeks ago.
I'm on chapter 3, at the end of chapter 3, so...
Oh, no.
Yeah, the farm.
That's still a
Timefall
fair chunk,
farm.
man. Come on. Some of us have lives.
Oh, no, I can't even talk to you guys about anything.
I have played like a good 3-hour session every day since it come out. How are you this much farther ahead than me?
We shouldn't spoil it. The game hasn't been out a week yet. Yes, it has. I was teasing you about it last week, but yes, it has been out officially a week. But I think story spoilers and such we should not touch, but we can talk general thoughts about.
But there's gonna be some mild spoilers.
Maybe like
here,
first 6 hours or the first 6 hours fair game.
Yeah, maybe like the setup of the game and the world and like what you actually do.
One thought that I have had in recent nights is that it sucks.
like basically an IGN review, right? This is what like just very vague.
Oh, the 6.8.
Nah, I'm on chapter 3. I don't want you spoiling the game for me anyway.
I'm a little worried that it's that there might not be as much hiking later in the game as the hiking I enjoyed in the first 6 hours.
Well, should we just start from the start about what the game actually is, considering it's been a mystery for like the past 3 years?
Yes. Okay, let's try to describe Death Stranding in so many words. I guess, yeah, Death Stranding. Okay. I'll start with sentence number 1. You guys like follow up with another sentence. Let's do this. Death Stranding is a Hideo Kojima game
Made by Hideo Kojima.
it definitely feels like it.
because the cutscenes and the writing are very
Garbage.
long-winded and redundant. Oh,
And directed by Hideo
Dude, he
Kojima.
pauses so long. Why? Why does he do that? It's
Because-
still there. Why won't anyone stop him?
Because
He has a director, as a person in the damn thing, and he still pauses.
he needs to reiterate the same thing every single line. Like, I can't help but notice that every time you deliver a package, you almost get the same response from everyone, and that is, "Good work, Sam. Let's see how the package
Yes.
is. Looks perfect. Thanks, Sam. You're great."
Oh,
And
excellent
they hang
condition.
up the phone.
I still don't want to join your stupid club. Oh, thanks. Thanks, dude. I just spent a fucking hour walking over here.
In Death Stranding, you have to press lots of buttons and very delicately handle the stick to walk your character around properly. I think that's cool.
So you guys are just walking everywhere. Is that what's going on?
No, I got
Because
vehicles.
I'm trying to go through it as fast as I possibly can because I knew this would be a content.
You were farther than
on
me.
this episode, but
Because I didn't have time, and then everyone was farther than me, and then I flew past you guys.
But you know, like there were 2 or 3 days this week because of certain things that you know about that I could not
right,
play
right,
for,
right.
So that took into the time. This game. Is it a game?
There's like vehicles.
pretty gamey.
There's buff items that assist you. Yeah, it's like a really complicated,
Is it
intricate
complicated,
video game
though?
about walking. There's so many degrees of gradation to your character's movement depending on how slightly you're tilting the stick that like at least the engine of your character movement is complicated.
Yeah, I'm playing around because I
Like-
can't even say what I want to say because 6 hours in, like, do you guys even get the skeleton?
You
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have the skeleton. I guess
I'm not 6 hours in. I'm about 15
Okay.
hours in.
as far as story spoilers go. Let's just cut them off at 6 hours in. is what I meant.
Okay. Well, then
Yeah. Because like gameplay wise, I really enjoy the hiking. I'm wondering if I'm seriously enjoying how the vehicles and the power armor fold into that, because that seems to be taking out a lot of the interesting challenges of how and why and where and when to scale mountains.
How about we structure this into what we think are the positives of this game, and then we can go into the negatives. Like, let's do a round robin of what each of us individually thinks is positives about this game and what we're enjoying, and then negatives, because otherwise we're going to get lost in the weeds like Sam and Norman Reedus man on his missions.
Well, positive is there is some of that uncomfortable male bonding closeness in this game, and I always live for it. I always live for it.
It's quite
Kojima
emotionally
games.
charged.
Yeah,
It's quite emotionally charged.
yeah, it is. I would pay good money to see Kojima in his own game being that guy, being that guy, just being really close to Norman Reedus. We have to talk about this in secret. In breathy voices. That's like,
Let me get upright up close to you. And then Norman Reedus just doesn't say anything.
yeah, he's just
back.
like trying to like curl up in the corner. It's like, why am I doing this? Why did I agree to this shit?
I'm a little disappointed in the story and the dialogue. Like
George,
really...
this is the positives. George, this is the positives.
Well, you got to make up stuff for the positives, you know.
No. Let George have his say. Let George have his say.
I'll save that say for later. Positive wise, like I do genuinely enjoy the gameplay. Like this is a game that I think I like the gameplay. Maybe not the menus and the cutscenes, but I have a strong fondness and a bond with the troubles you got to put up with that they turn into a game here. Like I did the cross country bike tour. I'm into hiking. I have an outdoorsy side to me, and there have been moments where I've had to carry a bike and hoist it above my head with 40 pounds of bags dangling off of it through the swamps in New Orleans or Louisiana. And every single step in situations like that is a challenge. You can make a game out of that. People have been able to make games out of that for years, and it's weird that no one's done it until now, really.
It has to be interesting.
Like the gamification of not slipping and falling.
I have to agree as well that the hiking, the part everybody thought would be the most boring part, is actually the best part of the game. It is a hiking game. But what I don't like about the hiking, which is kind of not so much a negative, but it's when it's so open spaced and you're just walking on a flat plane to the next area or to a place you're going. But when the game actually tasks you to climb something like a cliff or a mountain, and you have to think of either inventive ways to get around it or to prepare yourself with ladders and climbing gear, and you have to use other people's structures. The asynchronous multiplayer aspect of this game is when this game is really kind of good, and I relish in when the game has like a mountain or a cliff for me to get to the top of, because that really is fun, and it is a challenge to do that.
I get a genuine sense of adventure and accomplishment out of it, and there's something to this. Like it's probably just me, but I feel like had Breath of the Wild had a system like this, I would have been way more into Breath of the Wild. Like just holding up and watching a meter go down is not nearly as intense and demanding and
but
interesting.
At the same time, Breath of the Wild has about 1,000 more systems than this game has, because this game, surface level wise, is garbage.
But it's like the most dedication I've seen to the millisecond to millisecond movement of your character outside of Mario. Like just
because that's all the game has, though.
Well, there's also vehicles.
No, the vehicles are trash.
No.
Let's be honest here.
And
like you get caught up on every freaking rock. It's annoying.
I would love to talk about the negatives.
Okay, sorry.
Oh boy.
Listen, I like the hiking. I genuinely like the game. I mean, I'm going through it. I would have stopped playing.
Yeah.
But I like the game.
Yes.
I mean, I'm about to go on a hike. What is it? This guy's 12 miles, freaking 10,000 feet to summit. Like, that's what I'm doing Saturday. Like, I enjoy hiking. I don't feel that from this game, though.
Reality.
I don't feel this from this game. I just feel like it's just a game.
Is it maybe because it measures you walking 4 kilometers, but actually then if you look on the map, it tells you you've walked half of America?
Well, no. You're talking about real life. You really are going to walk miles and feet, and you don't think it's like a good gamification?
No, yeah, I am going to. Yeah, I am going to do that, and I don't feel the same. Like it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel the same. I don't know, like because I guess
your resting heart rate is different in both.
It maybe.
There's buttons for grabbing your backpack and holding steady, and you'll have to crouch if you're climbing up a steep hill, so you center your weight lower.
I have to agree with George a little bit. I do think that if you were seriously hiking, or at least carrying cargo, it has elements of represent. I feel like this is probably the best game environment for topology and like actual bumpy dynamic ground, even to the frustration sometimes
of falling over
and the way you can scan the environment. Yeah, not of falling over, but just like how jagged and uneven things can be sometimes that don't match up with how flexible Norman Reedus is in this game because he is not fucking flexible.
Yeah,
at all.
sometimes you
Not
see
like a
him
real
hover.
human being.
So sometimes his animation will kind of hover an inch or two above the rocks.
He's not. This is the thing: is the ground and the world are very much kind of realistic, yet his movements as a human being are not as responsive.
I interpret that as level design obstacles. The little tiniest rocks that cause the tiniest of trips are something I'm actually keeping my eye on and navigating him around.
Yes, for the most part, I am too as well. But things that you, as a human being, have been tricked into thinking that you could quite easily go over sometimes can cause you trouble. Is part of the problem, I think. But as much as I think the hiking part is fun and stuff, I think the best thing about this game that I actually get excited about on the flip side, before I want to think about the negatives, is that I think the asynchronous multiplayer aspect of this game is really
It's like the
neat.
best part, right?
I really like
Yeah,
it.
being able to build
Say again?
roads. Oh my gosh.
Being able to build roads with other people,
Oh,
like
so good.
turning the game off, coming back and seeing either your structures completed or structures that were in construction that you walked past prior, and then on your way back you've seen like a giant road get completed, actually changing the environment is like super, super neat. And like you'll be climbing something and you'll be like about to fall, and then all of a sudden, you'll scan the environment and you'll see like a ladder or something maybe 20 feet away from you that somebody else has left there, and you're like, stranger, thank you so much.
Because you know you're not carrying a ladder. Because why would you carry a ladder?
Well,
I always have a
well, I carry like 8 ladders.
Carry 8 ladders?
I carry 8 ladders.
Why?
It took me a while to figure out not to have everything on me all the
Oh,
time.
that's so annoying, though.
I was the Flex Trek whip snake for the first 6 hours of this game. I didn't want to leave anything behind until I
love
I
the
had
rope.
to part with
Oh.
it. It was
I think-
heartbreaking.
The rope
I
is
think
amazing.
I liked the beginning more than I liked, like, later on where I'm at. Like, the beginning hiking
Okay.
where you had to kind of have a ladder and stuff was great. Like, now I can always count on someone else having a ladder.
So
I
this
kind of
is a
like
real
that though, because that person didn't have that, so that's why they had to
Yeah.
put it there. I like the idea of like forefathers coming
Yeah,
before
yeah,
you.
helping you on your way. And you give
It's-
them a
it's a
nice little,
real-
like, you know?
double-edged
Yeah.
sword, because if the other
Ooh, boys, how many likes do you have?
I
think
stopped
I'm
counting
at 18,000.
over 6.
I have 24,000 so far, thanks to one generator I built in the middle of nowhere on the road between two places that was like perfectly the right place to do it. And it just like, I turned the console off, came back, and I shot up from like level 40 to like level 115 in one go.
Nice.
It was pretty
Yeah, I still haven't
gratifying.
hit that gold mine yet.
What about aesthetic placement? You got to make sure that your ladder also like nicely slides into a nook that naturally complements its horizontal rungs.
Yeah. It is
You
kind
want
of intriguing.
the other players to make it look like that's a normal ladder and not a weird video game placed ladder that hovers into the water or something.
Yeah.
Can I talk about negatives now?
Wait,
Yeah.
there's no more
Yeah.
positives? I mean, we didn't really talk about positives, did we? Or did I just not talk about
I
positives?
suspect we're gonna go back and forth.
Is there? Well, yeah, maybe, but I don't. Really
I'll
have
say
any
this.
positives,
I've been,
really.
I have fun, but like I do generally like the game because of its weird.
I do too.
I like the weirdness. It wouldn't be a Kojima game if there wasn't like the weird talking and this is what I
Yeah.
signed up for.
God, I wish. I am waiting for a Kojima game that doesn't have that.
I really-
I want to at least see him try.
Well, he's trying now.
Yeah, I don't think he can. He is
This is
trying.
him.
Yeah,
He
is
just
trying.
sucks.
He doesn't understand.
so yeah, like my big negative was just being disappointed in exactly that, the dialogue, the writing. Like I was looking forward to seeing Kojima finally get out of Metal Gear Solid style dialogue, and that
No,
didn't happen.
it's literally hiking the game Metal Gear. Like
Yeah,
it's
Sam is almost Snake.
Yes.
And Deadman is almost Colonel.
yes. Oh, Die Hard. Sorry.
But it's not even that. It's hiking interspersed with non-stop metaphors and similes that are just so obnoxious. If I have to hear the word connecting and connection and strand again, or even just the word Sam with a full
Strand.
stop after it,
Sam.
We're all connected now, Sam. Sam. We're
Sam.
all connected. Like in
Sam.
every piece
Good
of
job.
dialogue. You know, and then it's like, oh, I need you to go do this. I need you to go do. Die Hard Man needs to go shut up.
And you can see how much time they paid for Norman Reedus because he never responds. So obviously they couldn't afford Norman Reedus for that long.
Like Big Boss has 24 Man. Oh God, who was the actor who played Big Boss in MGSV?
The 24 Man, Kevin Bauer,
Kiefer.
like that. David
Kevin Bowerman.
I think that's the 24 name.
Yeah, they barely got to pay Kenneth Superman any lines at all for MGS5. So yeah, that's the thing. I'm disappointed by seeing how much Metal Gear there is there, because the menus. Metal Gear games have been full of menu bloat since Peace Walker, it's back. It's menu bloat. Hey, everyone, close your eyes and think about what you love about Hideo Kojima games. Is it redundant long cutscenes and dialogue? Menu bloat? Little 3-digit numbers that build up over time? It's like a lot of stuff people I don't think want out of Kojima games that ended up still making it into this Kojima game.
This menu, just to start, so the menus are abysmal. They're awful. They're garbage. They're terrible. You can't read them. They have the tiniest text. They have varying objects and stuff on them that nobody can read, and they don't do anything. And everything's labeled like recycle materials, deliver cargo, delivered lost cargo, deliver standard cargo.
I love how when you're in your cargo menu, you can't press the back button to exit out. I fucking love that. Oh, it's so good. I love not having the buttons be consistent across multiple menus.
You know, I never get annoyed by menus as much as you guys.
How? Like, menus are where my muscle memory hits in. I will never remember to hold A to get out of the cargo menu. I instinctively press circle, and it's like, no, that's not the button in this particular menu. And it just, it drives me up a wall.
It's a combination of so many design decisions that muddle up to just lack consistency across it that makes it glaring to miss things when you're playing, that you have to open it like 5 times to find out the information of what you're actually trying to find. It's not streamlined in any way. It's like Metal Gear Solid 5's menu, which was not that intuitive. And the map, once you're connected to the chiral network and you see everybody's signs and stuff, the map is so cluttered with garbage. And then you can add markers to it. And they thought that you would want to see where you walked. Like, it draws a trail of everywhere you've walked in recent memory. And it just clutters up the whole map that you can't even see the ground.
It also shows you on the ground where you walk, too.
Yes, it shows the footsteps.
Yeah,
no, not the footsteps.
Sometimes.
It like carves something into the ground. Like if you walked in a snow, it carves like a path. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, okay. That's maybe because it's snow, but I don't remember it on the grass. The thing I do like about the map that is the smart thing is this game features a lot of up and down geography. And one thing you can do in the map is you can hold the touchpad on the PS4 controller and then you can tilt the controller up and down. And it shows you the map from the side view and you can see how high the mountains are and stuff. That actually is pretty smart.
How long it took me to really, really use that properly? I was just like, just going to my destination. I'm like, I'm going to go this way. You know how much time I wasted? Holy crap. I would go.
Yeah, it's super useful.
Go through the BTs for no reason. I was like, I could have went around.
Never tells you. So, I talked to George about this yesterday a little bit, and it helped me formulate more as to why I'm a bit more negative probably than both of you. Because there are just some decisions I just don't understand about this game.
Oh, you're talking about the NPC count in the cities.
Just just the way the world is set up. Oh my god! Like, so the world.
It's confusing.
It's so bad.
Everyone's a hologram.
It's so confusing.
I was expecting to be less confused.
There are these. The whole game is about connecting the world again, like connecting America, connecting these cities together. But you go to the cities and there is nobody there. Like, and it doesn't even like I suppose you're supposed to assume everybody lives under the ground, but it never shows you that. You never go underground unless you go into Sam's private room, even if it just made people walk to Sam's private room through an area where there are other people, like it does in the beginning of the game for this medical thing. It would help flesh out the reasons as to why you can't bang on and on and on about connections and connecting the world, and like it's so vitally important that you get all these cities back together.
Fast,
Yet
man.
you turn up
real fast.
in these giant cities and there's nobody there, not a single person, not even people at the gates like watching the city. You literally turn up into a desolate wasteland of nothing. And how come all these cities are run by delivery companies, yet these delivery companies can't even have a boat? Like, you have all this advanced technology of cars and bikes, which are garbage and control like ass. And you have all these holographic projectors, and you have force fields that block BTs from coming into your city somehow. You can't have, like, a network. I don't
It started to break for me when you couldn't burn the bodies near the city. It's like, why can't you...
Yeah.
Why haven't you made a way to do that, like, safely?
If everybody's underground.
Why do I have to go through like
if everybody's underground,
a crazy
makes a
place?
big
Like,
hole.
yeah, have it underground, have it like the smoke tunnel out all the way out there.
But if everybody is underground, then it doesn't even matter anyway.
It doesn't even make any sense.
What do they eat?
Why are they all wearing like really nice overalls?
Where do they
and
get
stuff?
their really, really fancy clothes? Yeah.
Like, and the worst thing is, once you unlock like an area, you get orders from them for deliveries, and it's like, how did you know that these things existed if you weren't connected and unable to talk to the other cities? It's so bad in its setting up of that kind of stuff. You can't harp on about a game about connection and then just glaringly have the most barren and empty, frustrating cities. It's
They
so
all
weird.
shape the same.
And the game talks
They're all shaped the same.
that have the same environments
So
for every
in a lot of
warehouse.
respects, the game does feel kind of slapped together, and everyone's bunker looking the same.
There's a
as-
formula. You don't see it yet, but there's a formula to it.
Yeah, there is a formula, and every building that you go to, warehouse-wise, is the same.
It's a gray
and,
square.
and the game talks about all the other couriers that are out there risking their lives to bring parcels to people. Don't see anybody. There's never anybody.
No,
never
there's
anybody.
some other couriers every now and then.
The only people out there in the world, and this is the problem with Death Stranding, and it can't let go of being a video game. That's why it's not as weird as you think it is. The only people out in the world are the bad guys trying to steal your cargo.
Okay,
How?
you just
How
might
are
not
they-
have seen them yet. There's some
They're not-
friendlies. They're very, very rare,
Yes.
though.
Where?
Very, very rare. But the people in
walking around in
abundance
and out of the
are
stations.
Are the enemies who, for some reason, don't cause BT void outs because they never die, which is fine. Okay,
No, that's
I
the
guess
thing.
nobody,
I think that happens late.
Nobody ever
Gameplay
dies
spoilers.
in this game.
I think
How
that
does nobody ever die?
we'll see later on. Matt might have dealt with it, but I think at some point you like actually have to worry about whether or not you kill bad guys in this game because
You can't kill bad guys. The game never lets you.
You can kill.
Does it?
You can kill bad guys later.
there's trailer footage
Oh,
of
you
corridor
can
shooting
kill.
segments and
Well, I got the bowler gun. I know I can knock them out.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. You get a weapon, but then they tell you it's like, don't you dare kill anybody. You'll cause more BTs and blah blah blah.
Why did you give me a weapon?
Yeah,
then?
it's weird, isn't it? It's so weird. Why give me a weapon?
It's such a... And
Because it's a
there's
non-lethal
another, like,
weapon,
I don't know
too.
about you guys. Yeah, and I don't know about you guys, but the BTs and the mules and the combat in this game and the sneaking and past BTs is bad.
Thank you.
It's-
Thank you. Oh my god.
It's bad.
Oh my god. I hate
bad.
it so much.
It's so bad. Sneaking past BTs after the first time you see them are not scary, and all you have to do is hold your breath, drink Monster Energy, and sneak past them. So all they end up doing is just slowing you down.
what do you drink the
There's
Monster
no-
Energy for? Sometimes you throw your pee at them.
But you don't need to.
You don't.
And the first boss fight you fight in the game where you actually have to engage in like throwing grenades and stuff is so bad. It's really like a PS2 boss fight. It's really
I thought
bad.
it was really easy.
It's really easy, but it has none of the inventiveness of like the Metal Gear Solid game boss fights. Like all of that stuff that Kojima is really good at. And it's really flat and boring. It's not even like that great a spectacle. If you get caught by the BTs, you see that boss early anyway, and you could just run away from it. And it's like you get caught by the BTs, and then you get sucked into an area. All you have to do is like walk 100 feet away, and all of a sudden they disappear. And then it makes that area free of BTs and super easy to do. They only slow you down in like a bad way. There's not like a smart gameplay mechanic. Yeah, you have to hold your breath, but you can just tank Monster Energy drink to relive your stamina so you can hold your breath for longer.
Wait. Monster Energy refills your breath?
Stamina.
It refills your stamina, and your breath is your stamina.
So you still have to like take a breathe every now and then between gulps.
Oh yeah, but if you stay still, the BTs don't spot you.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I drive my bike.
There's nothing engaging.
I drive my bike
there.
straight through. Works every time. Every time.
And the mules.
Those are so annoying, man.
The mules are annoying, but all you have to do is trigger. You know, trigger them.
Tripping them out.
You can trigger
their
them.
trucks.
Yeah, which is fun, but all it comes down to for me, I don't know about you guys, but as soon as I know there's a mule camp I need to go to, I stand on the very edge of it where it gets triggered, and all of them start running towards me, and then all I do is pull out the strand, and then wait for them to attack me, parry them, press the square button 3 times, and then they're knocked out forever, and I can just run around their camp doing whatever the hell I want. There is no challenge in combat in this game.
Strand?
They're like the piece of rope you have.
Tie them up with it. It's very cartoony.
You can like wrap when they go to attack you. It slows down and you can parry, and then you kind of like direct their weapon in a different way, and then all you can do, you can just hit them like 3 times, and then you knock them out. It's like shitty CQC.
I think it's really, really weird that the past 2 big Kojima games have had this kind of lonely, disconnected feel to them. Do you guys know what I mean?
Yeah,
yeah. There's a lot of lonely time in both MGS5 and Death Stranding, and the characters are you don't know how reliable they really are there.
This game is so isolated. It is like, it puts you on edge because you think something's going to happen because you're alone for so long, but nothing ever happens.
Like, I remember a lot of my time in MGS5 was spent alone on the oil rigs listening to sad 80s music, and now a lot of this is like walking looking at a mountain listening to sad ambient music. Is Kojima okay? Does Kojima need a friend? Is something going on here?
Like, Matt, like, also one thing I want to preface as well, that I think people who maybe haven't played before, without spoilers, so I've played like 15 hours now, and I have not seen any more than 2 minutes of Mads Mikkelsen so far in this game.
Yeah, he hasn't showed up for me either.
You see more of him later.
But I've seen,
and he was like
minutes.
the big thing, right? He was like the big thing.
The big thing, right? And he's the big thing. I've seen Higgs.
The game is stretched out. It is stretched out with a bunch of garbage in between. So much filler in this game. With you walking, that's why I have it
even more frustrating.
That's why it's not fresh for me anymore. So the hiking thing, it's not. That's why I'm like,
Yeah.
You know, I like it,
vehicles
but I also just use my car now. You know.
Yeah.
I can imagine
the story of mankind, huh?
Yeah. It's like walking is cool,
real interesting, but let's just use cars.
I am actually intrigued to find out about, like, even though the writing is admittedly terrible and the story for the most part is the typical convoluted, the pacing is atrocious. But I am intrigued to find out about the Death Stranding. The one thing that is kind of frustrating about this game, more so than all of its, nitty gritty mechanics and stuff that is annoying, is that I actually think like the plot that's been set up, like the idea of this post-apocalyptic event, the Death Stranding, and the after effects of it, like the BTs and the void outs and human beings unable to die
Yeah.
without
Actually interesting.
causing nuclear explosions and all that kind of stuff to be really unique lore. And if it was like a sci-fi TV series, I'd be like, this is awesome. And it makes me want to find out more, especially like what's going on with Mads Mikkelsen and BB and all this kind of stuff. But it's 15 hours in, and I have yet to see like more than 10 minutes.
It is
of
an
that.
interesting
Yet,
premise.
I have watched 4 hours of cutscenes.
I think you guys are just not getting it. He doesn't like to be touched, and it's the whole point. There, you don't see them in person all the time. You see them in holograms, and it's the whole point, being connected, but you're not connected. You know, it's like a deeper understanding.
But see, the thing is, like, I'm shouting in my head, you're not actually wrong. That just doesn't make it.
It doesn't make it good, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't make it good. It doesn't make it good.
Like, I get it.
Doesn't.
Kojima, I freaking get it. Just
all right.
do it better, please.
There's a lot of forgivable things, right? Because it's just Kojima, but there's one thing that's unforgivable for me. Every time Norman Reedus takes a shower, the blood doesn't come off. What the fuck?
Wait, really?
You don't see the blood on his shoulders? Am I the only one that sees it?
He's got a ton of scars. I don't know whether they build up over the game, but when he gets dirt on him, I just leave it. I'm just like, you can just deal with it.
So you
I'm
never
not
take
going to-
showers?
So you can't throw your gamer bathwater at the ghosts?
You guys never
'cause
take
there's a small
showers?
cutscene for everything.
I love taking a Sam shower.
Really? Oh my god!
No.
There's a cutscene for everything.
Yes, you have to
I'm
press
just
start
so
and then
bored.
right and then skip it.
It's so
Okay,
stupid.
So
This is I feel like I am crazy for not liking that stuff because Breath of the Wild had tons of it and everyone was like, "Oh, Breath of the Wild, best game ever." And this has tons
What?
of those
What?
What are you talking
What are you
about?
talking
Are you
about?
mad?
overlong upgrade animations, the minutiae of gameplay getting depicted as like
It's
a
not the
10-second
same.
long thing that requires you to go into.
It's not the same as-
every time
as
you unlock
literally-
a shrine, there was a little cutscene. Every time you make Sam take a shower, there's a little cutscene.
No.
No. This is like
Peace
Every time you
standing
go to a
up,
private
completely
room, there's a
poop,
little cutscene.
sitting
Every
down,
time you
take a
unlock
shower.
tower,
No,
there's a little
you-
cutscene.
Check on BB.
You are just being a Kojima fanboy here.
No,
There is
because I
a-
want him to
There is
stop.
there is a cutscene for dropping the deliveries off, receiving a
Dropping
package
a
from
deuce.
somebody else, putting something together, recycling something, opening a terminal, looking down
Dropping
at
a
BB,
deuce.
plugging BB in, going down to your private
How
room,
is-
the shower,
how is that
peeing,
forgivable?
the toilet, looking at instructions, looking at your terminal,
Yeah.
looking at your equipment.
And when
Okay,
someone
okay.
talks, everything
Monster
My
stops.
question, my question is why is that forgivable for Monster Hunter and Zelda, but not forgivable
What?
for Death
What?
Stranding?
Where is it in Monster Hunter? Literally in Monster Hunter, you're dropped into the world and nothing stops you from doing anything for hours. What are you talking about?
The only thing is the cooking
Watch
thing.
a cutscene.
The Palico cooking thing.
Yeah, do you watch a cutscene for
Even-
cooking? You
even-
watch a cutscene for upgrading your armor.
That's all in.
You don't. It comes out immediately. It immediately comes
can
out.
skip
It's not
it.
the same animations.
You watch a cutscene for unlocking a shrine. You watch a cutscene when you complete a shrine. You watch a cutscene when you unlock a tower. You watch a cutscene when you upgrade your armor.
They're interspersed. They're literally maximum 10 seconds, and they're interspersed with like 1 to 3 hours of gameplay stretched between
It
them.
adds up. Like okay, yeah, those are 10 seconds. It's about a good 4
You're
to 6
upgrading
seconds. of
something
skipping these
compared
Death
to
Stranding
watching Sam take a shower. You're taking a shower. The same cutscene.
You're not gaining anything.
And even then, I'm only taking like a shower every hour. It's interspersed. Ooh.
But it's not because in the meantime, for every 1 to 2 hours, you're watching a cutscene for 5 to 6 minutes. And you're listening to somebody talk, like Die Hard Man or Dead Man or Heart Man or Mama. You're listening
Mama
to
Man.
them talk. Like, for every 20 minutes of the game, they talk for like 2 minutes. Every time you do...
Oh god, you know what I also fucking love is when you unlock a new item and then someone on the radio tells you, Sam, we've unlocked this new item. Then you go to buy the new item and someone on your radio says, Sam, we've given you this new item. It functions like this. And then you go to buy the new item and Mama comes on the radio and says, Sam, we've given you this new item. And then you have to press a button to get rid of the briefing. How is this shit okay?
No, you just don't understand it, George.
It's not okay. It's not good.
Like, I don't think I disagree with you. I think I just have a lower tolerance than most
You're
people.
not deep enough. You're not woke enough. Kojima knows how to put America back together. Kojima for president.
It's weird because I think all three of us are enjoying our time, but the frustrations of what I guess would be a Kojima game, like this is unexcusably a Kojima game now. All of us have the same issues. Like, it's a frustrating experience.
I am genuinely enjoying it, but I'm very afraid for the replay. Like, I'm worried that replaying through this game is gonna be rough.
I'll be happy when it's over. I would never touch it again. I would never touch this game again. I don't need to. I can understand where Matt's at. Like, I feel like the hiking is the best part, but it gets
old.
It can get old. There's only so much walking a man
Let me
wants
tell
to
you,
do.
there was this part. There's gonna be certain parts where it's gonna hit you where you're gonna hike to a place and it was a far hike, and they're gonna tell you, oh, you got to go all the way back and pick up something, and you're gonna say fuck you. And then come all the way back. And oh my gosh, I had to figure out a way to go across a mountain. I was like, I am not doing this. I'm not doing this. So I kept forcing my bike. And I was like, oh, this is too steep. All right, go around another one. Just kept forcing it out until I got about the path. It's literally moments like that all the time where you're just like, nope, I'm not going all the way around. Even though it's easier. But I'm pretty sure you're supposed to do it that way. But my God, man.
Like in the very early area where you have to go through the forest for the first time to get to the power generator. Like, this is like super 2 hours into the game. You know, when you go through the forest for the first time where it's full of BTs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you get to the generator and it's like, Sam, we need you to return, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh, okay. And then I actually tried to skirt around the mountain, like on the side of it. But I tried to put ladders down, and the game was like, this is basically where the invisible game walls are. You have to go back through the forest and face all the BTs again.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, no, don't want to do that. No. I want to play how, like, the whole point is to play how you want to play.
I got caught by the BT, ran away, and when I came back, there was no more BT.
Yes, it's
But it was fun because I didn't know that was how it worked at the time.
But it's like a defining cutoff. It's like a BT has 30 feet in which he can move, and if he moves outside of that, he's like a D&D character, and he suffers from some ailment in which he must not go past 30 feet.
I mean, what's worse,
It's
having the BT chase you all the way back to your start, or having maybe if they just didn't fizzle away, that would be fine.
This is inconsequentially the problem with the game. It's like
exploitable, yeah.
You're carrying cargo. You go into a BT area, and one, it's either very boring because you just wait and sneak around, and it's not even fun sneaking around like Metal Gear, where you have to think about it. You just hold your breath and you just move. It's not exciting.
There's nothing scary about it.
And there's no challenge
all.
in it. But if you get caught, all that happens is you get dragged really far away from all the cargo that you have to go back.
And if you have a bike, it gets sucked in.
And when you go back, there's no more monster to worry about. So
yes, but the point is that all the game has done is teleport you to another area of the map to walk back to. It's not actually made you do anything. You don't have to fight the
penalty?
BT. You can run away from it.
I didn't know they worked like that, and honestly, I kind of wish I didn't.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
You just run away, and it's not hard to run away.
The rest
just
of the game is going to be a lot less scary now. Thanks.
Was it? How was it scary
sorry.
before?
Because I didn't know that they go away if they caught you. I thought it was just a spooky mystery why it wasn't there when I came back. I fought two of them.
You can farm for you. Essentially, you can get caught every time and just use your hematic grenades to kill them because you can farm for crystals by doing that.
Wow. Yeah.
Farming.
So that turns it into a material farming open world menu bloating Japanese game with a bad writing.
You can just kill them for the crystals.
You gotta build those bridges, George. Gotta build those bridges.
Build those bridges. Connect those invisible people.
Oh.
Speaking of the actual people, the holograms you see, how many of them have you recognized so far?
Conan.
That's
it.
I missed Conan. I missed Joff. Joff's package got destroyed in the rain.
But he has a lot of lost cargo. You can find it.
I have not found any more
George,
since the
you know
figurines.
you can spray your cargo to make it better,
Oh,
right?
I know that now. I'm sorry, I'm playing a game and learning it and figuring it out along the way like you're supposed to do.
But that's how I did. Also, the spray sprays forward and then you have to hold the button to spray it backwards. The only place.
Well,
Like, you can
it's
set
just
one
in
on the
case you want to
ground
spray
and-
your bike or something.
But your bike doesn't
Yeah.
get repaired. Only the cargo on
No,
the bike.
no, the cargo
your
on
bike
the
has
bike.
containers
Oh,
on
right.
it.
It's so
Yeah.
weird by default. It's not aiming at the cargo on your back.
Very true.
It's so
Very
weird.
True.
I can. That's just one button you got to press. It's not a 10-second cutscene. You got to pause the game.
So
and
I've
skip.
met Jeff, that good old Ludens fan, Jeff.
Jeff?
I saw Helman Hurst, who we talked about last week, who is now the former CEO of Gorilla, who is now the head of...
Oh my God! How many people do you think recognize Helmet Hurst?
Probably a fair few, I guess. Maybe. I recognize Junji Ito,
Oh really?
the guy who made Uzumaki and all those horror mangas. He's in there, which is weird. I was like, whoa, that's Junji Ito. That's really strange. He's the engineer in chapter 3.
Man, PT had like such different writing and feeling than the usual
Why do they
Kojima.
have to use real people? Why? Like, for the main cast,
They're so
it's
boring.
fine. But, like, the
They're so boring.
holograms, why do they have to be real people that people know with different voices?
To get people to watch.
It's just so strange. Like,
You don't
meeting
want them speaking
Junji
Japanese.
Ito in the apocalypse, and he just wants me to get him some parts.
Oh, so he's the engineer.
Yeah, he's the engineer, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't met Conan yet.
He's a cosplayer.
I met Edgar Wright.
Oh.
Edgar Wright's in there.
Alan
Director
Poe.
of Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Edgar Wright's in
Oh,
there.
he's good. He's real good. He edits as well, doesn't he?
I don't know. But he directed Scott Pilgrim as well. So he's in there. It's just tons of... It's so weird. It's such a weird game, yet it's a weird thing that it exists in the way it does. Like the big and mysterious Kojima
he does.
era about Death Stranding. But when you actually just play the game, there's nothing that's truly that weird about it. It is a hiking game about delivering cargo, and it features a random bunch of celebrities in the apocalypse. It is not that weird,
But it still hits the same tropes and the loops that we're all
it's
used
so
to in
gamey.
some ways.
It's so gamey at times. It's strange.
I'm realizing that the game's not actually about how cool it is to climb a mountain with rough terrain and shitty gear, is
it's
it?
actually, it's actually Metal Gear. It's just that you're not fighting people on a normal. Like that's what changes. In between, like, the boss fights, it
is a
doing
little
that.
feasible for me to like close my eyes and imagine this being a very elaborate MGS5 total conversion
Well,
mod.
it's still about building America and the president and reconstruction of weird societies and also facing terrorists and all that kind of stuff. So it's not that far
It's
off.
basic like a mod. It's a mod. That's what it feels like. You know how like basic a mod is, where they only can do like
the feel, the menus, yeah, they're all close to MGS5.
yeah.
But they hired really famous actors to do it.
Well, that part I don't even notice those guys.
Yeah,
they all seem kind of boring to me. So it's just
would not have been able to recognize.
Well, it's only the photo scans, right? Obviously, they visited Kojima's office, just had the photo scans of their face, because the voice and all the acting is a voice actor is somebody else.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like, Junji Ito doesn't speak English.
except for Conan.
Oh yeah, because Conan's might be different because of just how famous Conan is. But for example, like Junji Ito, obviously he's a really famous horror manga artist, and he made Uzumaki, but he doesn't speak English. So when he's talking in full blown English and all this kind of stuff, it is super weird if you know who Junji Ito is. It's just like, this is a weird disconnect that isn't making sense.
Gotcha. Well, I'm a little disappointed that no one noticed that there's blood on his shoulders when he takes a bath, but it's okay. I need you guys to
I didn't know it
take
didn't come
Sam
out of that.
a pour bath and look at his shoulders and see that there's blood stains
Are you guys-
on his shoulders.
Are you guys also not disappointed
it's a
at the
tattoo?
fact that there's like a distinct lack of customization for a Kojima game?
Yeah. Why can't I
Wait, what do
change
you
the
mean?
color of the suit? Like in the beginning, you see the colors of the suits.
Yeah, it's like this
And
one's
then-
for this one. This one's for what? No,
This one's for security. No, I want the black suit. Give me the black suit.
just let me edit what I want.
I can edit my sunglasses. I don't care about the
So
sunglasses.
the Bridges hat that you get, the black and white hat that just says Bridges on it, like so,
Yeah.
so I changed it to red, and it looks suspiciously like
Oh no.
a red and white MAGA hat.
Oh no.
Like
That's-
you know how distinctive those hats are now. Make America great
Oh.
again. Well, the red and white, it looks so weird. So I'm running around with this red and white hat and red sunglasses like, yeah, build America.
Yeah.
The like message question mark, I guess, about Trump is it's so distant from the problem.
Have any of you guys read any law files or any emails you've
Nope.
received?
Yeah. I can't keep up with it, but I'm trying. They're coming in at a faster rate than I want
will
to read
admit,
them is the
they
problem.
did something I really like that I'm actually kind of like, yeah, that's a cool idea, is they highlight the important parts of those messages in yellow text.
Like it's school
Yeah,
textbook.
so you can skim read it, so you can read the important parts of the messages and get the gist of what that character's talking about without having to read the fucking essay it is.
Gosh, but I don't want to read. Like, ideally, it would be something I'd have fun reading that I'd want
But
to
it's
read.
not
and
good.
I've been trying to read it, but yeah, it's so weird. It folds into the dialogue. Like, why are they telling Sam all this exposition stuff that they should know? You're supposed to come up with an excuse when building a fictional world about how to elegantly deliver message to the player about how the world works. In this case, it's people sending Sam definitions in the email, and that's not how people work. Like, none of us are getting definitions in our email about what YouTube is, right? Or what a podcast is. We know and we'll explain it, and listeners will read between the lines. But in Death Stranding, you just have an inbox full of, this is what the chiral network is. This is the organization you are making deliveries for. This is why you are making deliveries. This is the recent history of the past 4 years.
I want to finish it, and I want to find out the secrets of the Death Stranding, but I have to. There's so many
You
things
have
I
to
have
finish
to.
it.
I just have to drop when I'm playing it. I don't want to do any side quests. I don't want to do anything.
Yeah, don't do any side quests. Repave any roads that are on the way. Don't do backtracking. Backtracking is if you want to help out other players, not yourself. Is the gist I've been feeling.
Yeah, like
I don't know.
all
Maybe
of
Matt's
the
further.
asynchronous stuff I really like, and the idea that you can like other players' things is great, but it actually doesn't tangibly turn into anything other than upgrading your level, and your level only then rewards you to do more asynchronous stuff that doesn't help you, it helps other players. So it is weird.
I wonder if this is why it got such divisive reviews. Like, maybe it just depended on how many bridges other players had built on the reviewers' session.
I'm pretty sure.
Because those things save you time and
Yes,
frustration
they
in
do.
like a real tangible way.
Yeah.
But that's a part of the
huge
game's
way.
fault.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. How do you really win that? If there's too much of it, the game's too easy. If there's too little of it, it's too hard. How do you get it just
Can
right?
you imagine
'Cause
playing this game offline?
Oh no, it's unplayable almost. It's unplayable.
Well,
Yeah,
wonder
yeah,
if you
it
do
would
more
take you
interesting.
double
you might
the
not
time.
Use the vehicles so much.
It would take you
though.
double the time. Can you imagine? You wouldn't be able to get up mountains. You would have to keep going back if you didn't bring enough ladders or climbing anchor. Sorry, and it will take you double the time. It'll take you double the time.
It would take you a long ass time.
So I'm really interested to read these reviews after I play the game and figure out what happened.
Yeah, and that's why I said I get it now. I get it because it all depends on how you think as well, because you could totally take the wrong way and end up spending like 20 minutes doing something you do not need to do.
I also wonder how different the game is if you don't have a plate of food with a beer in front of you for the cutscenes.
Oh, it's bad.
Because that also takes away some frustration to what I imagine a lot a lot of people consider bullshit is just being able to sit back and relax and eat food and like click on my cell phone during the cutscenes. If my attention was completely devoted to them, I'd probably be leaning a little more negative.
I zoned out on a couple cutscenes, to be honest.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
Yeah,
in today's smartphone age.
I really wish that I don't so much mind the cutscenes because I think they're pretty well acted for the most part. I think Norman Reedus, when he gets to talk and do stuff, is actually pretty fine. But the amount of like codec talking from Die Hard Man and Dead Man,
Die Hard Man.
Too much.
Are you talking about Dead Man or Die Hard Man?
Just everybody. The fact that they're just always talking to him, always. Sam.
Yeah.
We need you to deliver another one. These mules packed in our asses, bought some fucking pipeline, blah, 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 blah. Hey, Sam, did you know,
By the way,
like, that guy will explode, blam.
Sam, here's the definition for a FLCL device.
It's funny. It almost seems like he's trying to trick you when he does that, because there's like a certain point where you could totally not pay attention, and you'll die for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're like, well, yeah, this is just another package. Let me go deliver the package. Boom.
Oh shit! Spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, before we go further down the hole and end up spoiling more of the Stranding, let's probably just cut it out now and move on with the bathroom break and then some news.
So that's your backpack, huh? You've had it for years and it's never let you down, yeah? Your old backpack is good enough, right? Wrong! Once again, that's world-renowned naturalist and lecturer of the outdoors ultimate enthusiast, Steve Clymer. And this time he's wearing the brand new Archwood FlexTrek 37 trillion Whip Snake Edition. A pack so revolutionary you'd have to be insane to go near any trail without it.
This is Steve Clymer, the outdoors ultimate enthusiast. I've always worn Archwood backpacks, whether it's the SAS Flex Day Pack, Easy Breeze Edition, or the classic Black Geyser. The FlexTrek 37 Trillion Whipsnake Edition is Archwood's most responsive pack yet.
Go ahead, humiliate the terrain, devastate the environment. You deserve it. When the whip snake strikes, you'll want to be the one wearing it.
Oh my god. Is this what it feels like when you're a Japanese person reading about weeaboos? Like people who have a very not good understanding but great obsession with the culture? Is Kojima basically a reverse weeaboo?
Maybe.
Oh my god.
He loves America but is getting it really wrong, you know? In a cringy way that's kind of embarrassing.
He is
What would you call that?
He's the Metal Wolf Chaos of reality.
Oh.
All right.
You gotta somehow put that
We're
into
back
the show.
in. That's in the show.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, fine. We're just cold dropping straight from that into the quote unquote news section.
Kojima is a weeaboo.
Yeah, you know, speaking of Japanese people who are out of touch with the American markets,
Wow.
That's a great segue into the new Sonic the Hedgehog trailer.
Yeah, it's made by Americans.
It's a Japanese character made by Americans.
Sonic was originally American anyway.
Because a lot of Sonic was Japanese people who were in America making Sonic. Anyways, Sonic the Hedgehog got redesigned for the movie and it looks okay.
It looks fine.
All
it
right.
looks good, man.
Yeah, the CG, it's not clean. I mean, obviously, this has only been a few months, right? Like, it's not going to be clean.
But it also has like a plot.
Yeah, his mouth
but-
is really smooth.
story.
But it looks good.
The design looks good. Yeah.
Yeah, and the actual movie looks good,
Well,
which is weird.
He actually looks like Sonic instead of a weird rat thing.
it is so strange seeing side by side comparisons between the two of them because it's like, wait a second, was that really what it looked like? How did they get it so fucking wrong in the first place? Like, how?
They made sure to include that trailer of him screaming at the camera just so we could know he doesn't have freaky human teeth.
Yeah. It's like in the back now. It's still there. It's
I
just
still
in the
think-
back.
I still think Jim Carrey could use a redesign.
Reshoot the whole movie.
Yeah, no, like the Sonic character looks a lot better. The pacing in the story is a lot better, but Jim Carrey needs a fat suit or something if he's going to be Robotnik.
I think he looks fine.
He'll probably get fat later on.
I'm hoping that at the end of the movie there's a climatic final
Sonic
battle
gives him
where
diabetes.
Robotnik gets fat. It's the ultimate contest.
Chili hot dog eating contest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I also briefly want to talk about the music choice in this trailer. They went with the 1988 New Jack Swing classic Supersonic instead of the 1995 rap hip hop
Gangsta's Paradise.
legend Gangsta's Paradise, and it fits and feels a lot better, but I'm wondering if the only reason they ever picked Gangsta's Paradise is because it was from the mid-90s, and Sonic is like a very mid-90s referential
Well, Sonic's meant to be pretty gangster as well,
character.
isn't he? He's meant to be pretty...
He's not gangsta at all. No, we're not talking about Knuckles.
He's meant to be pretty mad. There he is. He's got an attitude. Sonic's has got an attitude. He's like, you're too slow.
That's not the same.
Dude. A remix of Pumpkin Hill when Knuckles enters the screen. Oh. That would be so tight.
That's the only thing that the last trailer was missing. Instead of Gangsta's Paradise, they should have had Pumpkin Hill as the music.
There was definitely some 3D modeler, right? Who now the fan reactions come out was like, you fucking dumbasses. I told you fucking 2 years ago when you gave me that little rat boy to model that this shit was not fine.
Yeah, I don't know how true it is, but I was reading a lot of comments claiming that studios will like have backup designs on hand in case things go terribly wrong.
Well, this was not a backup design. This was like they bought in Tyrone Hess, I think his name, the guy who did all of the animations for the Sonic Mania stuff.
Yeah.
And the design of that cartoon Sonic and the comics, they brought him in to redesign it. So I think it was a bit more of a Hail Mary than it was anything else.
God, and that's like definitely because Sonic Mania had excellent animation. Wow. Yeah, the fact that they went from something that looks so out of touch and unaware to something that's like pulling from Sonic Mania
It's Sonic.
is...
Yeah.
I mean, you look at it and you're like, that's Sonic.
Yeah.
Also, there's more video game references in the actual video game movie trailer this time. He runs through the Green Hill Zone. There's that portal ring at the very end.
I'm impressed. I'm not going to lie. I'm impressed. I'm going to watch it.
Oh,
I'm still nervous, guys.
I'm impressed.
Like, broken by it.
Yeah.
Because the trailer was, even like the old trailer, like you were saying, like the old trailer didn't really have much. So you were like, it kind of looks like okay. And Sonic looks like shit. But this one, the trailer actually is kind of like, it's kind of has a good vibe. It's a little funny.
But the problem with the trailers, you could see the whole movie story unfold. Like Sonic goes to Earth.
Only okay.
Sonic goes to Earth. Sonic meets his friend.
And he has a really lame sidekick human friend who
then
doesn't look fun.
Then he goes on a road trip and he gets chased by Robotnik, and then Robotnik makes a plan, and then they fight in New York, and then it ends.
Well, I think it might be a little bit more.
We'll see.
Because there's a whole like other character. There's a whole other character that they don't even show. You remember the black girl that they never show in these trailers? She's in there.
Oh wait, from the first trailer.
Yeah, that's gonna completely change the story. There's gonna be a black girl for a few scenes.
Wow, what are you trying to say?
I wonder if she kisses Sonic.
George being racist again.
Okay, fine. What's the next topic on the list?
No. But yeah. Like I don't know. Like I'm pretty sure there's a little bit more. I watched the whole thing because I wasn't sure that I really cared.
Yeah,
that I was gonna see the whole movie.
Yeah,
but it looks good.
I'm a little worried about going to see the movie as a 30-year-old adult, though. Yeah, I knew there would be silence.
Man, who cares, man?
Oh my god. No,
who cares?
We live in the nerd era. Like, it does not matter.
I get it. Like, I grew up with Sonic.
It doesn't matter, dude. Have you seen the people that go to see Star Wars on the first day?
Yeah.
I watched The Mandalorian yesterday, so I don't know.
Hey, was it actually good? I'm literally interested in seeing me some Star Herzog.
It was slow.
Oh, no.
It was slow until the final 10 minutes, and then there was a really cool gun battle, and then there was a big reveal about something, and then it ended.
Wow, that sounds like a TV
final
show.
It's shot really nicely, though. The cinematography is real good.
So
10
we're gonna have to
minutes.
talk about Pokemon.
No, we're not. No, we're not at all. No, no.
We're having a Pokemon crisis, Liam.
Well, we're not.
A global, worldwide Pokemon emergency.
Some people seem to be.
So how interested are we in talking about Nintendo canceling a Pokemon launch event in Japan?
There's only one word in this instance. Gamers.
Yeah.
Gamers.
Okay. So Pokemon is going through some bad times. The Sword and Shield games are upon us. They're coming out within days. Reviews
Today,
are out
right now. They've been out for an hour and 37 minutes.
Reviews are hovering around the 8s. The consensus seems to be it's a good game, but not a step up. Meanwhile, though, really, really super duper hardcore fans are really super duper bummed and angry.
Bummed is an understatement of the century. Like
We've
vitrolic is maybe.
recently talked about the National Dex controversy and how I didn't
Yeah.
even know that was a thing. Nowadays, the big gripes among the Pokemon fans are cuts to the Pokemon moves roster. There's a limit for catching Pokemon above your level. They don't want you to catch Pokemon too far high above your own level.
What? That's always been in the games. You've had to... Wait, what? You had to go to the fight gym leaders to catch Pokemon from a certain level. That's always been in the games. That's weird.
They won't listen to you.
Apparently, there's an in-game item required to be found before you can change volume options. And a lot of very strange... I have a hard time deciphering all this stuff. Very strange, convoluted gripes about how they are handling their assets across multiple releases. So yeah, the complaint is that there are some duplicate models across multiple Pokemon games, but the minutiae is that the stuff you see in a lot of the work that they're doing behind the scenes is fairly invisible in terms of just comparing one model to another, in terms of making the rigging for the animations and the light maps for how the engine is going to calculate lighting across that model. And yeah, it's...
I do not want to talk about this topic for a long time. It makes me insanely angry on so many fronts, but I can understand people being upset about this. The problem is it's not as simple as people think, and this is what is really almost to the point of I wouldn't be surprised if Game Freak just gave up after this. It is exhausting to have to try and correct people who are armchair talking about how your job is or how your industry is. I can understand people being disappointed at 512 Pokemon being cut. That is understandable, but Pokemon has got to a ridiculous number of 900 plus. That is insane. Name a game that you remember that has over 900 characters in it. It's insane. And to think that even if, no matter what happened, it was said in an interview that was passé comment about, we've had to, redo the models for all of this. No game ever developed that has had prior games in the series has been just started from scratch. Game Freak have their own internal engine that they make Pokemon on, and they've probably developed a brand new one for Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu and Sword and Shield, because even if you look at both of those games side by side, they look different. That requires a lot to change. It is not as simple as just laying out assets. And to think if you have those animations and those models that you would just redo them is batshit crazy. And the people who are saying it's simple and all you have to do, I saw a Reddit post of a dude saying, well, if you spend 10 minutes on one Pokemon a day, and the average one person would be 6 a day, maybe an hour each Pokemon, they would be done in 6 months. It's are you insane? Are you actually insane?
10 minutes? What duty could be accomplished in 10 minutes?
Like rigging a Pokemon or something, because they already the animations and stuff already exist.
Good luck, kids.
You do not understand how software works and how incompatible animation files can be, and 3D models and rigging, and it goes wrong.
And they're human
all the
beings,
time.
not robots.
And seriously, it's the 900 characters thing that I think my sympathy starts to cut off. That is a shitload. I did not even know this was a regular feature in the game, and it sounds like something, honestly, that I'd have to feel for myself to even acknowledge whether or not it works as intended, because a lot can go wrong across 900 variables.
It's definitely that. I can at the same time understand people's frustrations at the fact that the game has some graphical performance issues and frame rate dips and stuff like that, and stuff like that is not cool.
Oh yeah, you saw the LOD cut off?
Yeah.
NPCs disappearing.
But LOD is just something games have had for ages, and the Switch isn't the most capable thing.
It looks weird, but they are ravaging it for that.
And you wouldn't if there wasn't already a prior controversy. This is the problem with the internet, is the fact that people will dogpile on stuff just because it's already being dogpiled on. And nobody gave Breath of the Wild shit because of the LOD in Breath of the Wild. That's also pretty bad. And the pop-ins, because it's on the Switch. The Switch is not the most powerful console. And Game Freak have not developed a game for Switch until recently. Little Town Hero, which was in development at the same time as Pokemon Sword and Shield, and now you could say that was not a good idea. And in hindsight, probably wasn't a good idea to fondle some of your game dev resources into another project that took 2 or 3 years, when this game definitely needed some work in regards to its graphical performance. But to say that it's simple and that you know what the solution is and that they could have done 900 and that they're skimping out and they lied and all that garbage is you do not understand how games are made. And to be nasty and mean about it, especially if you're an aspiring game dev, you're not going to get anywhere. And it is to the point that the news article we have to talk about now, boringly so, is a Pokemon event in Japan got cancelled, one of the safest countries in the world, because of fan backlash. No matter what, it's a video game and it's people's lives and their jobs, and you're going mad about something that it had to be cancelled because they were endangering people's lives. It's
yeah, I'm really worried about what's going to...
No wonder the Death Stranding happened.
What's going to happen if this manifests into hard sales data and event cancellations like this.
Pokemon will still sell 10 million. It is a small minority of people on the internet, probably bigger than most controversies because Pokemon is a massive multimedia franchise. But in regards to the actual fraction of the amount of people who play the game, it probably won't even make a dent. It's the first Pokemon game in a mainline Pokemon game on Switch. It's going to sell gangbusters. It just is. Pokemon games sell. This might take a fraction of maybe at a maximum 500,000 sales, because that is a huge number off this game. But that's not going to take away from the whole of if it sells 12.5 million or 13 million, it's really not going to make a difference. It's such a sad and weird situation. Fans are disappointed. Game Freak are being attacked. People don't understand. It's just really sad and frustrating for everybody involved.
How do I follow that up and segue that into...
Let's stop talking about game dev problems from Twitter on the show. God damn it.
I would like to get Liam mad and say, I hope Pokemon's good and it's everything I dreamed of as a kid.
I hope it is for you too, Matt. And I imagine, considering the reviews that came out, no matter what you think about reviews from various sites, IGN, GameSpot, whatever.
Shitty reviews.
It's gonna be fine for some people.
You know what? I'm
the
happy.
art direction looks great. It looks
happy.
UK. It looks awesome.
I just want the Pokemon to connect with each other when they attack.
Build bridges to one
and
another.
The wild area be bigger than just an area. That's all I want.
I, for one, will at least say that I am happy that IGN gave Death Stranding a 6.8 because it makes the world a little more interesting and also shows that sometimes these big sites still have teeth in their review scores.
But this
And
is the problem. It's like, this is the world we live in now, where it is impossible to be impartial about anything, because IGN can quite fairly, as we have discussed in length about issues with Death Stranding, it's still a fun and good game, but there are issues, which is why you can see something like a tangible 6.8 being reality. But the fact that Pokemon got a 9.3, and yet people were like, this is a paid review. How could you give this game 9.3 when all these graphical problems? Like, oh my god. This is what you want. Ethics in journalism.
Speaking of which, how willing would you be to give Death Stranding a perfect score?
Hell no.
No way. I do
no.
not
Not in a
understand.
fucking million years. They better do a Sonic makeover for that shit.
Japan's biggest gaming magazine, Famitsu, has rewarded Death Stranding a perfect score, double 40s.
Speaking of ethics in journalism,
Apparently those double 40s don't happen often unless
you paid for them.
the game has cameos from Famitsu staff in them. So Death Stranding is the latest game including cameos from Famitsu to get perfect scores from Famitsu. The cameo in this case is a former Famitsu editor who, to be fair, does not work there anymore, but has kind of become known as a representative of the company.
He's like the chairman of the company that owns Famitsu.
He's now the president of Famitsu's parent corp. He doesn't work on the magazine itself, though.
But he owns Famitsu.
So in the game, he's called the Collector. He previously appeared in a Japan-only Wii game called 428 Shibuya Scramble that also got a perfect score. He also appeared in an ad campaign for Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, which also got a perfect score. And so, I don't know, you can probably fill us in, but as I understand it, Famitsu also doesn't have that much of a reputation for, like, serious criticism and harsh reviews. They're like the TV guide.
Being realistic, Famitsu is absolute garbage, and people pay for reviews from Famitsu. It is garbage. If you ever want to talk about ethics in journalism,
oh my god,
Famitsu is
exactly
is not good.
Because you know what this means? Is that IGN is more reputable of an outlet than Famitsu.
Oh my god.
The weird thing that people don't understand, and this is so strange, that you can't even bring it up for for fear of backlash, is the fact that things like Famitsu do exist and do pay for reviews or do favors and get high scores. It's a reality. Famitsu is garbage. But the problem is, places like IGN and GameSpot, for all of their faults, get the same argument all the time, that their reviews are paid for. Their reviews are paid for. But there are laws and stuff that keep them in check about not being able to do that. Yet YouTubers and ad branding and all of that stuff is totally fine.
It's not fine. What do you mean?
But in the context of the internet, it is. Nobody complains about ethics in YouTube game journal, like YouTube.
Except
yes,
gaming.
they do.
Smart people.
You can't pay for a review. That was a huge thing.
But you can.
You think if George says, sponsored by Battlefield, and he played a Battlefield game on the channel, you think people will be okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would. People,
yeah?
The way YouTube works.
I do think there's a double standard. If I did that in a print publication, people would be mad. I think if I did the exact same fucking thing on YouTube, there would be less criticism.
You could get away with it on YouTube because you put hashtag ad on a video, and then in that video you can't talk about it, but you can be sponsored by it. But if you make another video like a week later that is just your unbiased opinion, it's fine. It is fine. There's nothing you're doing because you're not sponsored in that video, but you're still talking about it.
The theory is the difference between marketing text media versus personality-driven media. If the personality is there, people are more, the new generation of kids on the internet are more willing to give them a benefit of the doubt and try to see things from their perspective than disembodied words on a page. At that point, people seem to be interpreting it as a brand saying those words instead of a human. That's why people will just say IGN and not
advertising,
not individual writers.
Yeah,
like they'll say, yeah, I did it myself. I said IGN has teeth now because they gave a Death Stranding 6.8. I didn't say the individual writer. That's apparently what happens when you look at words versus faces or hear voices.
It's so weird, the double standard about the YouTube game. It's totally fine. You can You can have a hashtag ad sponsored by Nintendo, but then you can continue making Nintendo videos about other games or even the game in context. But as long as that video isn't sponsored monetarily by it, it's supposedly unbiased. So it's totally fine. Which is so weird.
It's probably because the reviews are garbage. That's probably what.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that either.
But people,
That's my whole problem with the reviews. You think it's like I'm not attacking the whole thing. I'm just the reviews they're written badly. They don't describe anything. They're just there to say, oh, this is there. This is there. They show spoilers through the video, and they don't say anything about the game at all.
well, that's an entirely
They go
different.
into detail.
That's just
nothing.
that's just about quality. That's not about ethics. That's
Like,
quality.
I don't know if I know examples of what you're talking.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
like I've gotten to a point now where I feel like word of mouth throughout social media channels is kind of obsoleting the traditional published review. Because you can convey a lot of that information catered towards one's particular tastes by having little tweets that
Reviews will never go away though. That embargoed minute scores, as soon as scores come out, is what people like thrive for. Doesn't matter what the context of
I
the
wish they
review is or
didn't.
the text in it. All people scroll down to is the score, and that's as long as that is still a thing. Reviews will keep on happening.
Just like that guy GameStop I was talking about. He's like, oh, can I return this? Can I return? Do you have any Death Stranding pre-owns?
No.
The guy's looking at him, and I'm looking at him like, bro, it's the first day. You can return it after 2 days of opening.
It's like the 6.8 for about Death Stranding. Would you agree that's a pretty fair score for Death Stranding?
I don't know. I don't because
Yeah,
I have to decide whether or not I'm thinking in terms of the U.S. education system or like baking a cake with 10 pounds of flour. Like,
But it was reviewed by an Australian.
Okay, so in that event, maybe it's the what's the standard here? The outlet, do they usually hover around like 7s for okay stuff, or does 7s mean it's like better than okay? It changes on the outlet. It changes depending on the location of publication, depending on
Well, it depends on the writer.
like in my head, because I was raised with American school systems, I think anything below a 7 is bad, but that's not like how the actual math of
that
those
is also
numbers work.
inherently another problem in
Right?
the games industry.
Right, yeah.
Is 10 out of 10s are just 5 out of 5.
So I don't know. I haven't given a number to a review I've written in so many years that my brain I don't even think works that way anymore.
Matt, you're the furthest. What would you give Death Stranding on a 1 to 10?
No, I don't do numbers.
Come on, Matt.
I
You can do it.
don't think I've ever done numbers on the channel.
You can do it, Matt. Come on, baby.
No, you're trying to get me to do a number for Death
Because you know
Stranding?
what's gonna
I
happen
haven't even
is
finished
as-
yet. That's
as
like one of
soon-
my rules. If I
if-
don't finish the game, can't
Come
review
on,
it.
man. Ethics and
if
journalism.
any one of the three of us gave it a number, then that would mean that there would be comments validly saying, "Oh, Dad and Sons give Death Stranding a 6.8. It's paid
No,
reviews."
no one listens to the show enough.
Well, hey, our sometimes listeners send us questions so that way you know some people listen to the show.
Nice.
Ooh,
I'm
yeah.
enjoying that segue there.
Hell yeah, we
It's
got
getting me hot and
like
heavy.
10
go.
minutes ish to do listener questions. All right, let's hop into at least one of these. First question for this week, totally first question. We didn't cut out any other questions. The first one is this one from Jamie P. If someone wants to make your life into a D&D character sheet, what would your stats look like? Strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. What would your class be? Barbarian, cleric, druid, fighter, monk, paladin, ranger, rogue, sorcerer, warlock, wizard. And what would your alignment be between lawful, neutral, chaotic, or good, or neutral, evil, and you know the system, the combination thereof.
You can't do this on the spot. This is like a question you get beforehand. You write it down.
Do take out your tax forms.
Yeah,
start
dude, you
adding the
gotta-
numbers up.
You could have a general idea,
You get
though.
an
I think
idea,
I'd be.
yeah.
I think I'd have middling strength, pretty good dexterity, okay constitution, intelligence, middling, wisdom,
Middling intelligence,
Pretty-
huh?
middling.
Wait, what's the difference between intelligence and wisdom in this system?
Intelligence is for like wizards and stuff, I think, and wisdom is druids.
Yeah, but I guess in real world applications, I guess.
Wisdom is experience, and intelligence would be Your pure
Education.
intelligence,
Yeah.
I guess.
Education
So
versus
wisdom,
experience.
I think I'd be pretty high. Charisma, I don't know.
I'm
No one
pretty
likes
sure
to
yours is
brag.
high, Liam. You
Yeah.
know everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you, baby.
Yeah.
Thank
See,
you,
you were
Bryce.
just waiting for me to just shower you with all that. All right.
3 episodes from now. So hey guys, I was talking to Kojima and
Yeah.
I
It's so
told
casual. That's what he says when
So I
he's not on the
told-
podcast, guys. And girls.
Shut
it
up.
turns out Death Stranding was actually a metaphor for the 1994 healthcare debate.
I found out whilst drinking in Tokyo that
Oh my god.
I would probably be a paladin.
You know, I'm gonna write mine down ahead of time.
I would definitely be chaotic good.
I'll take a run at it. Probably my constitution, wisdom, and charisma would be my highest. I would like to get my strength to a higher one.
Yeah.
But it's like,
You,
oh
you
god.
and me are pretty.
When I think
weight
about-
trained, so we're pretty buff boys, but not that buff.
Yeah, when I see the people I work out with, I'm like, nah, I'm not barbarian. I definitely chaotic neutral. Definitely chaotic neutral.
I'm chaotic good. You're chaotic neutral.
Yeah, and
George is just lawful neutral because he's a good boy.
You actually guessed what I had written down. so yeah, I got shitty strength, shitty dexterity, shitty constitution, amazing intelligence, amazing wisdom, amazing intelligence, out of this world charisma. Oh, and I'm a rogue. And for an alignment, I mean, it's all a social construction. It depends on your
George,
interpretation
you are
for how you treat it.
absolutely a
So I'm a lawful neutral cleric, aren't I?
You're a preachy ass lawful neutral cleric.
Shitty everything. Except for intelligence, of course. I mean...
And maybe your constitution. Maybe you can just survive like a cockroach.
Thanks. Like this podcast.
I will always remember the compass, George. I will always remember the compass.
How many people have you met through life who will just whip out a compass when it's needed?
oh, go ahead. I thought you were reading the next question. What?
No. We're good. We're wrapping up. It's been 2 hours.
No. I didn't pick my class. Hold on. I think
fuck.
I think I'm a paladin or a fighter. I don't think I could be anything else.
Are you a...
Yeah, it's weird because I was thinking the same. I think I could potentially be a ranger, though. Maybe.
Wait, fighter? Matt, you'd be a fighter? I have a very hard time imagining Matt in a fight.
You should get to know me. No. I'm a very kind guy.
You should meet me outside.
Be outside. Show you what the business is. All right.
Well, boys, we're heading out, ready for our deliveries.
Is this the 10-second long cutscene you gotta skip?
Yeah. Well, I'm taking the truck. You guys can do the whole walking and find the nice mechanics in the L&R.
Oh, I love half holding L.
As long as I've got my power skeleton, I'm okay.
You realize, like, you got to know how excited I was to figure out that you gently tilt the stick to a close instead of just releasing it if you want Sam to stop.
It's too much.
When I figured out how to, like, lean into and wind up and cool down all the movement you do, like the game clicked with me and I was, fine, I'll walk. I'll just walk. I love walking.
I'm walking here.